Today, I'm going to talk about the 9 mistakes that are costing you money in your Airbnb and how you can fix it. I have been doing Airbnb for 9 months up to date, and I want to share all the tips that have worked for me so that you can avoid losing money. For those who are brand new to real estate, the term of Airbnb, it's very specific to short-term rentals. The way it works with rentals is that you have your long-term rentals and your short-term rentals. Anything that's considered long-term rental, it's anything that goes 30 days or above. Most of you are familiar with long-term rentals when you see a 1-year lease or a 2-year lease. That's the most common type. When it comes to short-term rentals, it's anything that is below 30 days. So a very common example are hotels. People rent out hotel rooms for a night or two or whenever they are on vacation. However, hotels are not the only ones that offer short-term rentals. There are other platforms like Booking.com, Vrbo, or Airbnb that allows investors to put their property up for rent for less than 30 days. And today, we're going to dive into the specifics of Airbnb. Now, first thing first, not every property is worthy of Airbnb. Meaning that in order for your property to be profitable as a rental in Airbnb, you need to meet a certain criteria. And that's the demand criteria. Is there enough demand for short-term rentals? What do I mean by that? Okay, is your property in the right location? Are there specific parts that people want to go there all year round? Like, for example, Disneyland or Disney World. Is your property nearby a concert venue so that you know there's going to be demands all year long? Or maybe like a sports stadium, maybe a baseball stadium, or maybe a football stadium? Or is it located in just a simply very highly touristy area like New York City or Miami Beach? If it doesn't meet any of those criteria, then you're better off putting your property for rent as a long-term property. The goal of Airbnb is to make more money, but in order to make more money, you need to have the property rented throughout the entire month, not just sporadically here and there, because otherwise it's going to be very inconsistent and you're not going to make money. So you want to have your calendar booked for as many days as possible, including low season days. So the best way for you to analyze whether your property is on the right location, just think of it as if you're looking into Google Maps or any sort of map. Put your property in the center and then try to work out a radius to figure out what is within the vicinity that could attract guests who are looking to rent your property for the short term. Again, is there any stadium nearby? Is there a conference center nearby that it's not on a hotel? Is it nearby a beach? Is it nearby a park? Is it nearby any major attractions that you know it's going to have demand all year long? Welcome to Nova Rice, your channel for financial education. In here, we talk about investments in real estate, investments in the stock market, in precious metals, and small businesses. Let's move on to the first mistake, and that is not optimizing your title for SEO. SEO is just simply a fancy term to refer to keywords. Thus, your title offers the right keywords, because when people are doing their search to find out what property they want to rent, they usually look for properties that meet a certain criteria. The more specific your title is, the better it is for them to find you. An example of a horrible title will be Room for 2 people in Queens, New York. I mean, come on. The majority of the rentals, because of New York City regulation, requires you to have a maximum of 2 guests. Rooms, there's plenty of them in New York City. And in Queens, there's still also plenty of other Airbnbs in Queens. So that is a horrible example. It won't make your property stand out. You would just be one of the many in the whole list. So what you want to do is to make it as specific as possible. But before thinking about any specifics, you have to put your mindset into what is that you're trying to resolve for the guest. What does your property have to offer that makes it unique for the guests to really want to pick you? In my case, I chose to focus on location. So examples of good titles that have worked for me are excellent location, 7 minutes to the subway. That is one title, and make sure that the amount of characters does not exceed 50, because that is the limit that Airbnb gives you. Another example of a great title is stay 15 minutes to LaGuardia and 10 minutes to the subway. Once again, it's short and concise, and it's under the 50 character max that Airbnb allows. Next mistake, not having a clear description that meet SEO standards. Once again, your description have to have enough keywords for people to get an idea what your location is and how is it going to benefit them to stay in your place as opposed to your competition. So a horrible example will be, I offer a room for two in a beautiful home in Queens, and I offer a queen size bed. That is a horrible description. Once again, it doesn't make you stand out. A home in Queens, there's plenty. A home with a queen size bed, most likely most of the Airbnbs offer a queen size bed. Once again, you want to bank on what you have to offer. And in my case, I chose to focus on the location. Location is key for the guests that I'm looking to attract. So a great description that has worked for me is stay 15 minutes from LaGuardia Airport, 10 minutes to the subway lines, FMR. Our house is 30 minutes to Manhattan, 30 minutes to the Madison Square Garden, 30 minutes to the US Open, and 60 minutes to the Yankee Stadium, all via subway. Your reservation includes parking and high-speed internet. You see, with that description, I am banking of people who are traveling in for business that possibly will want to have access to high-speed internet, who are most likely looking to commute back and forth between the city because most offices and most projects are done in Manhattan. And knowing that they're only 30 minutes away from Manhattan, it's excellent for them. And the proximity to the airport, it's a plus. That's for someone who's looking to come in and stay for a conference, for example. And if the guest is a tourist, well, perfect. They have the Madison Square Garden. They can go to the US Open. They can also go to the Yankee Stadium or just do regular sightseeing in Manhattan. Go to the Statue of Liberty, to Times Square, Rockefeller Center, you name it. Next mistake, uploading dark photos. That's a big no-no. Nobody wants to stay in a room that looks like a hidden basement or like a dungeon. You want bright up pictures, something that attracts people's attention and it makes them feel like they're actually staying at home. Next mistake, and this one is also related to photos, is not putting the photos in the right order. Did you know that your Airbnb prospect only looks at the first 3 photos in your listing? If they like what they see in the first 3 photos, they're going to keep scrolling and look at the rest of the photos. If they don't like what they see in the first 3 photos, they're just simply going to get out of your listing and continue to look for the next one. Now, what should you put in the first 3 photos? It should be the place where they're going to sleep, meaning the bedroom, the bathroom, and the living room. Then the rest of the photos could be a combination of what I just mentioned, but portrayed in a different angle. You should also upload pictures of the neighborhood and pictures of the front of the house to show your prospect how everything looks in the vicinity. Because aside from the place, they also want to know whether they're staying in a safe neighborhood or not. Next mistake, not study your competition. Your Airbnb is not the only one in the neighborhood. So why wouldn't you want to see what's working best for other people? Try to figure out what you can do better than them. Do they have a great setup? Do they have great pictures? Maybe you want to try taking a picture from that same angle to see if it works out better and maybe you attract more volume to your listing. One of the things that I noticed from our competition is that they don't typically offer parking. Yes, their listing offer parking, but off of the street. In New York City, parking is very limited, and we're one of the very few Airbnbs in the area that offers parking on site, meaning if they do rent out their stay with us, it comes with parking included. They can leave the car parked in our property and they can just go on and about without worrying about having their car towed or getting a parking ticket. Next mistake, not responding to your prospect or your guest within the hour. That is key. Communication is very important for your guests. They want to make sure that in the event that they need something, they can feel confident that they can always reach out to you to have whatever is it that they need delivered to them. In fact, we've had a couple of reservations that came to us because they said that the prior host never responded to them on time. 6 hours went by and they were still waiting for a response. And they told us that if that's how long they needed to wait just to make a reservation, imagine how long they need to wait in order to get something. So thanks to that host, we wound up having those reservations. And aside from that, if you don't answer within the hour, the Airbnb algorithm also penalizes you. So make sure you stay on top of your messages, not only to make sure that your guest is comfortable, but to also let the algorithm know that you're on top of your game. Next mistake that's costing you money, not accepting your booking request within 24 hours. Airbnb allows 24 hours for the booking to be accepted or rejected. But we don't wait those 24 hours. We try to accept our bookings within the first hours. Why? Because of the same reason. You want to keep your lines of communication open. You want to show the guests that you're on top of your game. And you also want to tell the Airbnb algorithm that you are on top of your game. That's how Airbnb winds up sending more traffic to you as opposed to other hosts. Next mistake, canceling your guest reservation. Never, ever, under any circumstances, wind up canceling your guest reservation. If you must cancel, request the guest to cancel on their end. So that way you don't get penalized by the Airbnb algorithm. Canceling is not a good thing. You don't want to do that because you have to think about the guests as well. They already planned their trip around you. So before you offer a date in your calendar, make sure you can really commit to it. Otherwise, just block those days if you're unsure, but you don't want your guests to have a bad experience because that will be reflected on the algorithm and in your reviews as well. And you don't want a bad review. Next mistake, the reviews. Do not let a review go easily. What I have noticed in the past 9 months of doing Airbnb is that most hosts, they're very flexible with the reviews, meaning, oh, if I leave my guests a review, hopefully they'll leave a review back to us. No, that's not how it works. Some guests are pretty good at it, but some guests not so much. So in my case, I have a 3-step follow-up. Yes. 3 steps. First, I leave the review to my guests, and then I send up an immediate message saying, hey, FYI, I just left you a 5-star review. Can you please leave me one? Hopefully I earned a 5-star review as well. That's one. Usually they do respond and they leave a review within the same day. But some guests don't get to do that. I understand. Life happens. So I let a day in between go by and then I follow up with them the next day. That will be the second message. Hey, friendly reminder to leave me a review. Please, it will help me a lot. And for the most part, they will address it by the second review. But some, they still forget. And I leave another day in between and then I follow up for the 3rd time and that will be my last reminder. Hey, friendly reminder to please leave me a review. Sorry to bother you. That is how I've been able to collect 73 reviews in just 9 months. And they're all 5-star reviews. And since you made it this far, I have a bonus tip, something that you could be doing that could be costing you money. And that is to not charge a premium for holidays or weekends. Holidays and weekends are days where everybody is available and everybody's looking for their next escape. So that means that even though people don't like paying extra, they're willing to pay that extra cost for the room, for their vacation, for their break. And this is your chance to make more money without having to do anything special. All you need to do is just to ride on the weekend and the holiday wave and make the most out of it and use those days to your advantage. If you're considering joining Airbnb, below in the comment section, it's an Airbnb host link that you can check out. And while I still have you here, I want to invite you to check out this video that's going to tell you the different type of properties that you might want to consider for your Airbnb project. See you in the next video. Bye-bye.